Here with Gordon men's basketball coach Tod Murphy, fresh off an overtime victory at Endicott on Wednesday. Coach Murphy, how you doing?
Doing fantastic.
You start the season 1-3. Some tough non-conference competition with UAA team and Rochester, ranked team in MIT, and then at home against Salem State, teams that will most likely be pushing for tournament bids at the end of the season. What do those games in the early part of the season do for your team when you get into the conference slate?
Well, it's a great opportunity to go against very competitive teams, and um, it gives our guys the confidence that they can play with very good teams. The reality is I'm not sure if we'll face any teams better than those teams you just mentioned, and so we shouldn't have any fear going against any CCC teams, although that's not taking anything away from our conference. But you know, MIT is a top 20 team. Rochester, like you said, will be competing for an NCAA bid. Salem State, you know, they're good year in, year out. So, as well as it's a variety of styles that they play. MIT is a very big, pounded inside type of team, and Salem State's a pressure team. So, we just try to prepare ourselves for the entire season with a very difficult non-conference schedule.
Endicott seems to be one of those teams that's super talented, maybe was overlooked a little bit in the preseason poll in the conference. Where do you see them falling at the end of the year, and how important is it to go into their place and grab that overtime victory at this point?
Well, let's just say I'm glad we got them early in the season, because I think if their talent gels, like it's certainly capable of, that they're going to be a very tough team to beat later on in the conference season. But whenever you can get a road conference victory, that's big, and I don't care who you're playing against. So this was a big win for us. Yes, it's still early, but every conference win we can get is important, and certainly when you get it on a quality opponent's home court, it definitely bodes well for our program.
Next two games, both away, or away and home, sorry. You're Wentworth Saturday, and then next Tuesday you're at home against Nichols. Those are two teams that counted for 3 of your regular season losses last year, although you got both of them and beat both of them in the tournament before the NCAA tournament last year. How different are they looking from last year, or are they pretty much a similar type of teams?
To be honest with you, haven't started looking at Nichols yet, but I'm sure they're probably a very similar team, even though they have a coaching change, so they've got a different coach. But you know, they've been historically a little bit smaller team, very skilled team, very athletic team. I would imagine they're probably similar to that. Wentworth, you know, they're pretty similar as well. They've got some very skilled players, but they're a very tough team. They're going to grind it out. As a matter of fact, in speaking with Coach Thies, we talked about the fact that, you know, a winning score might be in the high 50s, low 60s. So it'll be a difficult game, very smart team. Again, you know, if we were to come away with a victory on their home court, you know, it'd just be a bonus to us. So two very difficult games coming up, two very winnable games. But, you know, we're going to have to bring our A game in order to have success in either one of them.
And lastly, how hard is it to have a lot of games jam-packed in the early part of December and then go into finals week and then have a larger break for Christmas and then come back and play in the early stages of January?
It's difficult, but I think it's something that the Division III basketball player has somewhat grown accustomed to. You know, this is what happens across the board for the most part at the Division III level. So for me, it's a huge transition from coming from a Division I where we got 2 or 3 days off for Christmas, and now we've got about 2 weeks off. So, but I think it makes for a nice balance between a life outside of basketball as well as you know, being real serious about basketball when it's going on. So, you know, I think it's a great opportunity to get away from basketball for a while and reconnect with their families and have a nice Christmas break. And hopefully they'll come back in, you know, late December, early January, hungry to get back on the court and start competing for that league title again.
Well, Coach, good luck on Saturday against Wentworth.
Thank you very much, Josh.